The following video will bring you the funding application process of the Distance Business Program. First of all, please be reminded to enter the funding application page through the Secretariat's dedicated website. First, you can log into hkpc.org. By clicking to the Distance Business Program banner, you will arrive this page. Select Funding Application. After arriving this page, please read through the information carefully. Scrolling down below, you will see Apply here. Before filling out this application form, you are reminded to read through the guidance notes carefully and prepare all the e-copies of the relevant supporting documents to make the application process more efficient. The Distance Business Program only accepts online application solely through the below button. By forwarding the links, application might become invalid. This is the application form of the Distance Business Program. Before proceeding to the application form, the applicant or the applying company should note and confirm the following. First, each applicant can submit only one funding application, subject to a cap of 300,000 Hong Kong dollars for each enterprise and 100,000 Hong Kong dollars for each IT solution. The applicant company should possess a valid business registration certificate issued by the Hong Kong SAR government. The applicant's business should have commenced before the 1st of January 2020 and still had substantive business operation in Hong Kong in the industry related to the project in the application during the time when you fill out the form. The applicant is not a listed company, statutory body, nor non-governmental organization funded by the government. Related entities, that is, entities set up as different legal entities but having the same individuals, each holding 30% or more ownership in each entity. In such entities, up to the ultimate level of natural person of the entities are held by corporate shareholder, will be treated as one single entity for the purpose of calculating the cumulative funding amount. Expenditure items under the project in the application shall not receive funding support from other government funding schemes. Again, applicants are reminded to read through the guidance notes for funding application carefully before completing the application form. And then you should pay attention to the documents needed to be attached to this application form as listed in the application guide. Taking the opportunity, you are reminded that any consultancy firms or companies claiming to be approved or designated by the government or the Secretariat for promoting or soliciting business are misleading and making misrepresentation. Taking the opportunity, please be reminded that any consultancy firms or companies claiming to be approved or designated by the government or the Secretariat for promoting or soliciting business are misleading and making misrepresentation. Applicants should report the cases to the Secretariat for following up and taking appropriate actions. The application form is divided into 4 parts. Part A, particulars of the applicant. Part B, project information. Part C, budget details and service provider information. And Part D, declaration and undertakings. Now you can press continue if you have already read through all the information above. Part A, particulars of the applicant. You should upload the briefing documents here with a file size of up to 5 megabytes in the format of JPG or JPEG. And then you should check out the CAPTCHA and press next. Part A, particulars of the applicant. Please complete this part by making reference to the business registration certificate issued by the Hong Kong government. You are reminded that discrepancies between the information provided below and information contained in the applicant's valid BR certificate will affect the process of application. First, you should fill out the applicant name according to your business registration certificate. If your company has a Chinese name, please also put down the Chinese name here. If you don't have one, please skip it. Then put down the business address. Then the date of business commencement. And then the date of expiry of your business registration certificate. Put down your business registration certificate number. Select the form of enterprise. Put down the number of persons employed in Hong Kong. Here, you should choose the business category of your company. Then you should be uploading the document evidence proving that your company has substantive business operations in the industry related to the project in the application at the time of the application. For further details, you can always refer to Annex C in the application guide. Here you can upload any format of file from JPG, JPEG, PDF, DOC, DOCX, XLS, or XLSX files. Then you can press Next. Then Part B, Project Information. First, you should put down the project title. Select the project duration. Number of proposed IT solution with a maximum of 3 solutions per company. Description of your existing business. And the expected benefits you can get out from this funding application. Then press the Next button. Here is the third part, Part C, Budget Details and Service Provider Information. The applicant is required to list all selective service providers of the project. For applications which engage a system integrator or non-subscription-based service provider, 2 quotations shall be obtained for each procurement, while the applicant is required to select the lowest bid. If the lowest bid is not selected, applicant must provide full justification. Applicant shall upload both selected and non-selected quotations, as well as the corresponding probity and non-collusive quotation or tendering certificate signed by service providers. Solution 1. Input your solution here. Then the project amount for IT Solution 1. IT Solution 1 category. If you are selecting a service provider that is either being listed on the reference list of the program, or they have submitted their application to be enrolled to the reference list under the program, or they have previously provided quotation to other funding applicants to this program, they will have a reference number. You can enter the reference number here according to the type of the service provider. Please note that it is not mandatory for the funding applicants to use a service provider that is listed in the reference list. The applicant is free to choose any service providers according to their own needs. If your selection is no, then you should provide a second quotation. You should be inputting the information exactly the same as what you have done for the first quotation. If the service provider that you selected is not on the service providers list, nor they have not done any quotation for any other funding applicants before, nor they are not applying to be listed to the reference list of service provider under the funding scheme, you can ask the service provider for their company name and then the email of the contact person, and the secretariat will be sending them an email for further information. If you happen to have the business registration number of the service provider, you can also provide it here, but it is not a mandatory field. Then this is the area for the justification for choosing a sole supplier, or for funding applicants who are not able to provide the second quotations, or for funding applicants who are not choosing the lowest bid. In this case, we would be using a lowest bid service provider, so there is no need for you to fill out the justification part. Then you should be uploading the supporting document. First, for the selected service provider, you should upload a copy of the selected quotation with the service provider's detailed contact information. And please note that the quotation should also be showing clearly the service scope and the expected deliverables. Then you should upload a copy of the signed property and non-collusive quotation or tendering certificate of the selected service provider. If you happen to need a sample, there is one being uploaded to the Secretariat's website. Here is how it looks. Upload the document here. As for the non-selected service provider, you should also be uploading the quotation accordingly. Again, the quotation should list clearly the service provider's detailed contact information, service scope, as well as the expected deliverable. Although it is not selected, you still would need to upload a signed copy of the property and non-collusive quotation tendering certificate of this non-selected service provider. Now you have completed the uploading of documents of the first IT solution. As for IT solution number 2, first you should enter the solution here, project amount here, select the category, whether the selected service provider is on the reference list, the name of the service provider, email of the contact person, whether the selected service provider is a sole supplier in the market. Click yes if it is a sole supplier in the market and put down your justification here. Again, the service scope as well as the expected deliverable. And also a signed copy of the property and non-collusive quotation or tendering certificate of selected service provider. However, for cases that some of the service providers might be overseas service providers or global service providers, with only quotations being available in the virtual platform, the funding applicant is advised to upload a signed copy of the property and non-collusive quotation or tendering certificate according to their self-declaration. We have completed 2 steps out of 4 now. Here comes the external audit fee part. For projects that is like all other government funding projects, project auditing is required for projects with approved funding exceeding 30,000 Hong Kong dollars. The maximum audit fee to be counted towards the total project cost is 3,000 Hong Kong dollars. External audit fee is not included in the application and will not be reimbursed. You are also required to obtain 2 quotations for this external audit and upload the quotation here according to the instructions. You should select the auditor according to a lowest bid approach. Upload all relevant documents here. After you have successfully uploaded all the documents, press Next. Here comes the third part, bank account information. Applicant should use its business bank account for fund disbursement. Applicant is required to submit a consent letter signed by all directors of the company if such business bank account is not available and the personal bank account of one of them has to be used for fund disbursement. First, choose your bank account type. Name of the bank account holder should be input here. The name of your bank, and then the bank account number. You should reconfirm your bank account number here. Again, if your company is not using a company account, you should upload a consent letter signed by all directors of the company if the personal account is being used. You should then upload the file here. Please pay attention to the points to note here. After you have read through all the information and you have vetted that all the information being input are correct, press Next. Part D, Declaration and Undertakings. You should enter an authorized person here. The applicant should assign a person who shall act as the main contact point between the applicant and the government or the secretariat. In order to ensure the smooth implementation and completion of the project, the authorized person should be able to fully represent the applicant and be conversant with the operation and business processes of the applicant. As such, the authorized person must be a responsible personnel of the applicant. The Secretariat strongly encouraged the applicant to fill out the application form by a representative from your company. Please note that the Secretariat did not appoint any agent or middleman to be helping out to fill out the application form for any potential funding applicant under the Distance Business Program. You should enter the name of the authorized person here. If your authorized person has a Chinese name, please also put down the Chinese name here. If you don't have one, please skip it. And then the post title, contact number, email address. Here comes the declaration part. The authorized person of the applicant should read through all the terms carefully and check out the boxes. As an authorized person of the applicant should also declare the 2 points here. First, the government and the Secretariat to use and handle all information, including but not limited to personal data, provided in the application, including the disclosure of the information in relation to this application to other parties, in accordance with the section Handling of Information of the Application Guide. Agree that the applicant shall enter into a funding agreement with the Secretariat upon the approval of this application, and the approved project shall be implemented strictly in accordance with the funding agreement. After you have agreed with all the declarations and understandings here, press Next. After you have uploaded all the information, remember to check carefully before you press the Submit button. If you wish to be kept updated by the Hong Kong Productivity Council as the Secretariat of this program, please do not click these 2 boxes. Then press Confirm if all the information listed above are correct. And then you have successfully submitted your application. Remember to note down your application number. If you have any inquiries, always quote your application number and email to the Secretariat to check for the application status. Thank you for watching.